Nicodemus here. Today I want to try to get clear on what can somebody do that is coming out of a devastating relationship where they may have lost themselves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to condense this down into a really, obviously, each person's situation would be different. So, like, do they stay? Do they go? Like, all that. I mean, you really have to be led by spirit and what to do in that situation. But I want to talk about, this comes up a lot with people I work with, and from Course in Miracles, chapter 16, the illusion and reality of love. And I think that people don't really understand, like, most of the love that we learn in the world is what the Course would call special love, like the Hollywood, and, oh my gosh, you complete me. And then, oh, they broke up with me, or the relationship ended and I lost love. And the devastation comes from this idea of loss of love, which upon further investigation, it's seen that it's actually not even possible, this loss of love. So what does the Course say? This is actually from my own experience, because I went through a devastating, I put in quote, relationship at the time when I was studying this. And what the Course says is, underneath a special love relationship where we seek out love in the world, underneath that, there's really what's called the special hate relationship. And people go like, what do you mean hate? I don't hate myself. I don't hate the person. But what he says in the Course is that anywhere where we seek after love in hopes that it's going to make us fill us up in some way, which on the flip side, if it's gone, I feel like I lost a part of myself. All of that is hatred, because there must be a gap in us that we actually seek out love to try to fill up. And if you think there's a gap in you, then you already automatically, it's not of God. Then it is separation. And separation is attack, hatred, conflict, misery, whatever you want to call it. So I love this section, chapter 16, section 4. And this is what I tell people, really for me, this was a very eye-opening experience. Specifically, these two sentences I'm about to read. It says, and this is from chapter 16, section 4, paragraph 4. Love is not an illusion, it's a fact. Where disillusionment is possible, there was not love but hate. So if I can now be in love with someone and then it turns and I'm disillusioned with them, it was never love in the first place. It was a special love in which I sought out this person, filling up a part of me, completing me, filling up my needs, which ultimately becomes a substitute for God. That's why it's a special relationship, because if you look at anybody who are like, they're devastated, the relationship becomes the idol. It's like the relationship becomes the God. But you can't help but end up in misery and suffering if we do that. Now, what it says in the first paragraph of the section, it says, don't be afraid to look upon the special hate relationship, for freedom lies in looking at it. It would be impossible not to know the meaning of love except for this. So what the Course says, this is the only thing in the way of us actually learning the true meaning of love, is this gap, this void in us, this hatred, this conflict, this war that ends up showing up in the other person. That's why we fight so much. And we think it's normal to love and hate who are so close together. And it goes on and it says, for the special love relationship in which the meaning of love is hidden is undertaken solely to offset the hate, but not to let it go. So think about this for a moment. And this line, it hit me so hard when I actually experienced this. The special love relationship, where the actual meaning of love is hidden. It's a game. It's like, I love you if you're the way I need you to be. I love you as long as you love me. I love you as long as you live up to the picture I have of you. The moment you don't, I now hate you. Like how quickly relationships do this. So it says, for the special love relationship in which the meaning of love is hidden is undertaken. We get into it. For the sole purpose, solely to offset the hate, but not to let it go. So think about that for a moment. And it says, you can't, the special love relationship will not offset it, but will merely drive it underground and out of sight. And then it comes up. Like it comes up in that moment where you're like, I love you. And then you're in a fight, right? You're like, this is, oh my gosh. And how many people, I work with so many people, they'll come to me, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing relationship. And like within 3 months, or like they hate each other, they're breaking up, whatever it is. It just shows you. And like the Hollywood version of love, we seek out special love in the world to offset the hatred within us, the gap within us, but not to let it go. And that's how that we get so disillusioned in love. Now, the flip side of that is what the Course would call the holy relationship. And the holy relationship is two people not finding any gap within themselves, already whole, and only using relationships to extend love and wholeness. That becomes a totally different comfort because we're no longer trying to get from the other, fill up a void in me. Now it's just, what can I give? What can I extend? And the relationship becomes built on wholeness. So there's no hatred or gap within us that we're using the partner to fill up, whether it's sexual needs and like, I need you to be a certain way, maybe wounds from my childhood, which is what it always really is, right?
Yeah.
It's always wounds from our childhood. But then even underneath that, it's always separation from God, which we just use the body, the personality, this other person to fulfill our needs. And as long as they fulfill our needs, we love them. And the moment they no longer do, we no longer love them. That's not love, that's a game. Wholeness or a holy relationship is every relationship I'm in is an opportunity to find Christ again, to find myself again. So what does that look like for us? Well, first, it looks like actually being willing to look at the places in ourselves of conflict, of war, of attack, healing them through forgiveness, and then allowing the relationship to show up that actually mirrors, reflects that healing. And I think that is what we seek for in the holy relationship in this world. I think, my marriage is an experience of that, but I would say is that through that, the darkness and the of the special love relationship, it wouldn't have opened up the way for what I consider to be a holy relationship. Now, I wouldn't have been the space for it had I not gone through that. So the Holy Spirit can even use when you're in a dark situation, when you feel devastated. Nothing is ultimately lost. The Holy Spirit can use that also to teach us really, truly how to love. And that's the ultimate goal of all relationships.